Hi, my name is Irina Yakubin. I am an optometrist and co-founder of the My Eyecare team. Our goal as My Eyecare team is to bring peer-reviewed quality products that are ethically created to the optical and eye care industries. I have here with me today my co-founder, Charlene Nichols, as well as Sue Grant, creator of Dry Eye Doctor, and Tom Zanotti, as well as Ed James, who are also part of Dry Eye Doctor. So, Charlene, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, thank you very much. And my name is Charlene Nichols. I've been in the industry for 24 years. I've spent all of my industry on the back end, on the behind the scenes, and my main role has always been working for companies that do bring amazing products to market. I actually do have experience selling the Dry Eye Doctor mask in some of its earlier iterations. And I can tell you with experience, I remember the launch. I remember introducing it. I remember some of the questions and concerns people had because there are existing masks on the market. And it's almost like a repeat. And what's really exciting is I feel like the industry really needs solutions right now that are ethically created and that do not have other channels that are set up to compete with them, so that if an optometrist, an optician are out there really promoting a product they believe in and getting their patient base to adopt it and become loyal to it, that they're consistently able to get that product through that eye doctor as the primary channel and not at some point, competing with like an Amazon or something. So kudos to Sue, because she did that, many years ago when I worked with her. And I could see that even though it's been several years since we worked together, she's still doing that to this day. And I look forward to hearing what you guys have been up to and giving you a chance to talk about all the amazing advancements that your product has, honestly.
Okay, so about 25 years ago, I started making heatable product for various parts of the body, primarily filled with wheat and microwavable to treat aches and pains. In 2004, the company won the Queen's Award for Innovation, which is a very serious, prestigious award. It means that you get to go to the palace to meet the Queen. It means that that one of the royals came up to our factory and met all the staff, etc., etc., which was fabulous. As a result of that, as you can imagine, there was an awful lot of publicity. From that publicity, an eye surgeon, a very well-known eye surgeon in the UK, approached me and asked me to design a product that would get to a certain temperature for a certain amount of time. And he didn't specify what shape or what fabric or what filling, etc. So I designed a product, and that was launched in 2005. And the industry, I don't think, certainly in the UK, there weren't any hot compresses to treat MGD, blepharitis, dry eye. So initially there was quite a lot of education. So it was a slow burn, and it wasn't until about 2008-9, so a good 4 years or so, that the optical industry started to kind of get behind the product. In 2012, having learned from the initial designs what could be better, what could we do differently that would improve the product and improve the experience, we designed the Eye Doctor. So we did things like we incorporated a removable washable cover, which wasn't on the original. Feedback was that, well, I don't have anywhere to store it when I'm not using it. So we created a storage bag. We subsequently added in eyelid wipes so that you could clean the eyes after a treatment as well. That came a couple of years later. So that's what we did with the initial product, and then, as I say, we did the slight redesign, and the products were very well received. We won the Queen's Award again in 2016, and that was, the Queen's Award lasts for, it's a 5-year award. So certainly in the UK, if you've won the Queen's Award for innovation, that really does open doors. So we won again in 2016. And that was for, we'd identified that there was really quite a serious issue with bacteria on compresses. And it seemed to be believed in the industry that, well, actually there can't be any bacteria on the compress because we're microwaving it before we use it. Well, unless you're getting that compress for about a minute above 60 degrees, you're not really killing the bacteria that's on it. So we tested lots of different compresses, including our own, and we established that the products were bacteria laden very heavily, even at the time of purchase. So you can imagine, after you've been using it and then leaving it on the counter and then applying it back to the eyes, you're just reintroducing more and more and more bacteria. Bacteria doubles every 20 minutes in ideal conditions. So we created Sterilize, which is a solution that is bound to the fibres of the fabric in the compress. It stays within the fibres of the compress for the life of the product, which is a year. It can't be washed out, and it is 99.9% effective at killing bacteria. It took an awful long time although we were doing this in 2016, it did take us a couple of years to actually launch that, because we had to do extensive testing to establish that, well, yes, this is very effective on the compress, that's all well and good. If it actually damages the eye when you've got the moist heat coming up, being released onto the eye, does it do anything to the cell structure on the eyelids? So that was extensive testing, had to go into that. And of course, we proved that actually there was no problem with the product going onto the face. So that was a real big sea change moment, actually. Although it still seems to be that there's still a lot of messaging that we need to do into the optical industry to actually appreciate just how serious it could potentially be to have bacteria on compresses. We could be looking at cross-infection. We could be looking at lengthening. I think we all know that patient compliance can be a bit of a challenge at times. Maybe we're lengthening the time that it takes for a patient to feel the benefits of using the compress because they're continually reintroducing bacteria. So what I was saying was that there are various fillings, but we always do the testing to see, well, what happens if if the product is abused, how does it react? So, for example, the seed-filled product, we over-microwaved. On all of these products, you're meant to heat them for between 15 and 30 seconds. So we did the grain-filled product and we overheated it, and it lasted 5 minutes before it burst into flames. The gel-filled product lasted, I think, 20 seconds before it started to seep over the heating time, before it started to seep out of the sides. Well, gel, if that seeps out whilst you've got it on your skin, it sticks to your skin. So you've got serious burns if that happens. Our product, we put it into the microwave it went 20 minutes. Remember, the heating time is 15 to 30 seconds. It went for 20 minutes, and at that point, the fabric just started to discolor. But that's over 80 times the recommended heating. We put it in the oven, and it lasted 8 hours, and it could have gone on longer, but the test house were going home. So they couldn't leave it in any longer than 8 hours. So what I'm saying is that these products not only have to do what they say on the tin, they have to be able to withstand not being used correctly if we're to be using them. So yes, I think that's what you were referring to, Charlene, with the gel was absolutely dreadful. In fact, there was a gel product in the UK that was used as a hot water bottle, and that had to be recalled out of Boots. And a customer of John Lewis, the lady got second-degree burns and actually died because the gel sticks to your skin and continues to burn through. So the gel products are so dangerous because there's just no room for error at all.
Yeah, I think it continues to heat as it comes out of the microwave.
Yeah.
Well, gel, it may feel fine when you open the microwave, but by the time you go sit on the couch, gel heats from the inside out, and that could burn you also. As far as any kind of grains, I mean, I've been selling microwavable moist heat since like 1991 for pain relief mainly, but we'll get into that after. But I also learned that any kind of grain, the ODs and the MDs even would say fill a sock full of rice. Well, it doesn't take long for that to get very mildewy. And if it's inside of a cloth, you don't see that. And you're putting that on your face. And after about 25 uses, there's no more moisture. And it could catch on fire very easily, like Sue just said. So, I mean, and I've seen some pictures of the whole side of kitchen cabinets all burnt in someone's house because they were using a wheat pack, for example. So both of them.
Now, ironically, just to kind of transition, what's really interesting is in my previous role with one of the companies you mentioned, I was one of these one of these sales reps that was always thirsting for something new. We always wanted new things because my customers were always asking me for new things. And interestingly enough, I had introduced Tom to my company with his previous product prior to Sue's product coming on board. So it's kind of interesting coming full circle that here we are, 10 years later, all working together on the same project. It goes to show you really how small the industry really is, even though we're all from, different parts of the world, really. So Tom, I know that you're an absolute expert in this field, and many people would agree with me that you just, same way that Sue has been really responsible and proactive with how she's done her product development. You also, based on my experiences with you, and I'm sure the same is true for Ed because he's your right-hand guy there, have been really committed to making sure you're keeping all of the products that you introduce into your network, you keep the manufacturers honest. I'd love to hear about, your journey to where we are today.
Well, as far as my background, I'm a mechanical engineer that got very bored and got into medical, which I'm happy about. I joined Bruder, my Bruder Healthcare company, back in 1991 as the vice president of international. And I left in 95 and started my own company, which I sold in 2004. Mark Bruder had called me back in 2010 and asked me if I wanted to come in and run his sales for him as VP of sales. So I was the VP of sales at Bruder from 2010 to 2017. And I actually introduced the first microwavable moist heat eye compress to America. And in 7 years, I built it to an extremely strong product for Bruder. I had met Sue, as she said, in Buffalo, and I was floored by her product. I mean, it had everything you could possibly want. And, you know, Brooder was a good product, but not as good as the eye doctor product that now the dry eye doctor in America carries. And I say that because the original design that we had on the Brooder product was much too big for a small face. And everybody seemed to copy that when they found out how successful microwavable moist heat was on the eyes. So Brooder changed his design to a pod design, like two little pods with an elastic in between. The problem was that he fills it too much with beads. And because you want the beads in the compress after you take it out of the microwave to form in the eye socket. And with Brooders, you have to press against those two pods to get them into the eye socket and hold it there. Where with the dry eye doctor premium eye compress, we purposely leave the beads semi-loose so they settle into the eye socket. You don't have to sit there and hold it that way. And it's, I mean, that with the washable cover, antimicrobial, I mean, the pouch that it comes with, the lid wipes that it comes with, I mean, it's a whole treatment pack. It's not just, I mean, if I put the Brooder mask next to the treatment pack and showed you both of them and said, these are both the same price, which one would you want? I mean, it's a no-brainer.
And one of the things you didn't mention is something that I learned from being a personal user. First of all, we always talk about dry eye, but I don't think I suffer from dry eye yet. I haven't been clinically diagnosed with it, but I do suffer from allergies, and I use my computer all day long. And when I was selling the product previously, I had to test it, and I only tested it so that I could speak from experience. And I couldn't believe how much better I felt afterwards. I didn't even know that I was suffering until I had relieved all of the eye strain, and it would just relax me. I mean, I'm, you know, a busy mom, busy woman. It was like truly like a spa treatment, and I was able to sell it so much more passionately because it does so much more than just treat dry eye. The other thing that I think people really love is the dual sides. You have a satin side and a suede side, or velvet. And what I found is when somebody is really sensitive under eye skin, the side that is more of and if it's not velvet, correct me, but there's more of that softer material, it doesn't get as hot. But if you want that extra heat, using the satin side works really well also. And I don't know if there's a reason for that, but I would love to hear a little bit about that dual side, because it's something that I've found my own use for, but maybe there's a specific reason you've designed it that way, or maybe there's a right way to use it.
Well, we started with dry eye. I mean, that was our beginning point, but we now have become more of a family of products for lid hygiene. Okay, and we keep adding to those products. Matter of fact, I have designed myself probably 12 or 13 office-based instruments for meibomian gland expression, epilation, the movement of the, what do they call them, the little discs?
Amniotic membrane,
Amniotic
dry
membrane,
amniotic.
thank you. My mind went blank there, but I have a lot of foreign body remover. I designed a lot of this stuff, thankful for my mechanical engineering education. But doctors would come up and say, I wish I had something that could do this or do that. And yeah, I can put that on paper and get a prototype made in Germany and let's go, you know. So we're really now a nice family of products under the dry eye doctor. And thanks to Sue and her team, they keep improving on the eye compresses, and they've come out with lid wipes, tea tree oil wipes, face mask that's unbelievable with a a 5-layer charcoal filter. So you're actually going through 7 layers of material to get to you. It's very, very, very safe. So, you know, it's nice to sell a family of products because once the doctor sees how great one product is, he wants to know what else you have.
And getting back to what you were talking about, Charlene, I know that the material is great, and I know that Sue has been a lot of time in picking the right material and it providing patients reducing the rosacea on the face as well. And I mean, I know that Sue, since you, if you could you speak a little bit to the 2 types of material you use?
Yeah, so basically you've got different thicknesses of fabric. It does help aesthetically, and it does help keep the structure of the mask as well. But you can, like Charlene was saying, you can use it on either side. We needed, the reason it's black is because we needed to appeal to lots of different people. So rather than go for, you know, a variety of colours, we just went for the black. But yeah, the fabric is, it's like a velour, if you like. And then the other side is like a sateen. So they're considerably different in terms of thickness of fabric. So yeah.
Bruder, with the material, the white material that he uses, is a lot of people complain that they get very dirty very fast.
Yeah.
You can
Yeah.
see.
And also, I think that the sateen works really well because it's so soft on the skin. And this is what we found with the face mask. So apparently the sales of spot cream, so acne cream, have gone through the roof because a lot of face masks are causing irritation to the skin, whereas ours don't. And I think that's potentially in part to the antibacterial fabric, and also I think that the particular fabric that we've chosen. So yeah, it's been a very important development and something the industry needed, in our opinion.
Well, and Sue, I want to shift gears a little bit, Sue and Tom and Ed and Irina, Dr. Jacobin. And I want to talk a little bit about the relationship between my Eyecare team and the dry eye doctor and how we're navigating this new way of doing business and leveraging some of the channels that we have to help eye doctors. So let's face it, if you're an eye doctor or an optician and you're servicing your community, they have needs. So you talked about mask. One of the things we talked about in our campaign is a dry eye awareness initiative. People know about dry eye awareness, of course, but do they know that with mask-related dry eye, you know, I don't know if it's technically considered a disease, but at least the effects of dry eye and, you know, an increase in computer usage, more and more people are suffering from dry eye. And a lot of them aren't going to go the extreme route of getting drops or plugs or anything like that. They need a proactive solution. And I think that not a lot of people know about any masks, even the Bruder. So the fact that, you know, Dry Eye Doctor was able to recruit the My Eyecare team to use the processes that we have to really educate the audience, because, you know, you're this great manufacturer and you've got 2 sides that need to be educated. The consumer who uses it, who is the peak customer of your customer. You have to educate both sides. And one of the roles that my Eyecare team plays is in facilitating that. I want to give Dr. Jacobin an opportunity, since she's been the one coordinating and designing this campaign, to talk a little bit about what we're doing to set the stage for the industry to really digest this knowledge in a way that allows them to understand what this product is and the impact it can have on their patient care protocol.
All right, thank you, Charlene. Here, let me get back on. So it's interesting because I think dry eye is one of those things that so many people have, but they don't know that it's a problem. It's almost like they've gotten used to it so much that they think it's just normal. And so much so that they may not even report it, because during my clinical rotations, I've had patients whom I've asked whether or not they're experiencing, itchiness or discomfort. And the answer was, oh yeah, now that you mention it. So there's definitely quite a bit of patient education to be done. And what we're doing right now is we're trying to reach both doctors and patients by providing, educational materials, letting people know a little bit more about dry eye, and letting them know that what they're experiencing is not normal, and that is not the way things are supposed to be.
And I want to talk to you about something that happened to me the other night that made me think about this product, and it's happened to a lot of people, I'm sure. We are slathering our hands in alcohol-based sanitizer all day. We don't wash it off. We just keep lathering it on. And the other night, my eyes were really, it's like 3 a.m. You talked to me at that time, it's like always late because we're all busy. We have no time anymore. With COVID, we're like trying to make every minute count because we've got a million more things to do now. And it's 3 a.m., my eyes are tired, and I did the stupidest thing I could have done. I rubbed my eyes with my alcohol-laden hand. It was horrible. And I thought, well, I should have used the dry eye doctor mask, number one. And number two, I think, how many people have done this? Have put chemicals in their eye that are on their hands from all-day use of all sorts of antibacterial. And the first thing we do when our eyes get irritated is we rub them. I know that dry eye, what people don't realize is it can very easily lead to blepharitis and to other things that are conditions that are not reversible. So I love that we're able to really take this challenge. It's a big challenge of educating people on these things that we as a community, and I'm going to put myself in this community even though I'm not an eye doctor because I've been in the industry for so long, but even I have a long way to go to be educated. So I think it's great, Dr. Jacobin, that you can, as an optometrist that truly understands the anatomy of the eye, can take the responsibility of educating a vast number of patients through the channels you're using. And talk a little bit about some of the channels you're using and what's been effective. You've started to see, I think, a little bit of a result from your efforts.
Yes, and actually I wanted to let you guys know a little bit more about my background as well, because yes, I am a new grad, but I do have a special interest in dry eye. So actually last year, I was at the American Academy of Optometry, and I was, I put my name in a hat and was able to attend the Dry Eye Institute. So I think I'm one of the very, very few students who was, who had ever attended that. And that gave me a whole lot of passion and a whole lot of insight. So that is what I've learned there is also something I'm going to try and put out on social media. So we have our 3 major channels. We have Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. And of course, not all content goes on every channel, but the goal is going to be educate and advocate. Because it is so, so important, especially as an eye doctor, for me to have an ethical product to give to my patients. And I definitely did some research on Dry Eye Doctor early on, and it just made me so, so happy that this was such a well-researched product.
And talk to us a little bit about some of the feedback you're getting. I think there's already, building social media is something that companies struggle with. You have this great understanding of how to navigate the algorithm and get people engaged. I think you've got us to how many followers on Instagram in just a few short weeks?
Ooh, let's see. I think it's been about a week and a half, and we're pushing about 200.
Yeah, that's just incredible. And you're getting the engagement from both sides, I think. I think recently we had a review from an optometrist that talked about the clinical use of, and she talked about how she diagnosed and treated a patient with dry eye with the Dry Eye Doctor, which was really great. But you've also had some feedback from just some people who would be consumers of this as well.
Yes. Actually, we had a doctor just yesterday, post on social media about, not only how she's going to use the mask herself, but how she's going to start recommending it to patients because it's so effective and because it's antimicrobial. And that's another thing that's so amazing about this mask, because it's interesting that most people don't take it into consideration. And, blepharitis, the way it looks, is not a mystery. You can Google it these days. And once you take a good look at what blepharitis looks like and think about putting something on that over and over again, I think people will really want something a little bit better.
And actually, there's another thing we don't talk about enough, and I hate to say this is something that happened to me. I was on a plane and my eyes irritated me. Thank God this never happened to me again. But I rubbed my eye, and I guess there was a bacteria on my hands, and I ended up developing, what is it called, cellulitis.
Ouch, yes.
And I mean, like, my face, like, I didn't even look like myself. And I mean, I should have never rubbed my eyes again. But I can see a lot of people who suffer from dry eye accidentally touching their face at just the wrong time. And we all know now, touching our faces is just not okay. And it's hard to resist when your eyes are just irritating you and they're burning and you're like, okay, I gotta get back to work. I can't afford to sit here and have irritated eyes. I can tell you from experience, even if your eyes are like watering so bad you can't see, which has happened to me also, when you take the dry eye doctor treatment, it's like instant. It's unbelievable, and it lasts like the whole day. So definitely, if you're experiencing something like this, even as somebody in the profession, you have to try this product so you can get so passionate. The last thing I want to kind of just make sure we don't miss this point is if you're an eye doctor or an optician and you're selling these products, we've already talked about as a manufacturer who's had this product out there for several years, the challenges that exist with educating, and this is using, large channels. So if you're an eye doctor or optician and you've got this nice display on your counter, even though you're educating one patient at a time, there's a challenge. We all know doctors and opticians and managers of optical and eye care businesses, they struggle with social media, just coming up with the content, understanding how to do it, when to do it, why to do it, who to do it with. It's overwhelming for most of them, so much so they don't even do it. So what we've developed, and Dr. Jacobin has really been the driving force behind this, is a neutral channel. When somebody goes to the My Eyecare team social media channel, they're hearing about these products, and it's relative. The message is relative, whether they're a consumer buying from one of our customers or one of our customers buying from us. So this way, the doctor can say, hey, follow my eye care team and you'll see all the information about it. And their job is done for them. We're also, all of the customers that buy the dry eye doctor through the my eye care team, they get full social media support. And we've already talked about providing them with access for a social media feed. They can have any one of our content that they'd like, and we'll even private label it for them so they can use it in their channels. And we're even now developing ways for them to make these products available on their own website. And, we've already had entrepreneurial eye doctors ask us, is there a way that you can give me a link so I can not only sell this to the customers who are coming in, but help them, because they're always trying to refer other customers to me, patients to me, so that they can go out and promote it and, not have to worry about them coming to the store for it. So we really are together trying to provide creative solutions so that these great products really do get into the hands of the people who need them.
Absolutely, yes. And there's definitely a little bit of a difficulty right now with eye care providers and patient education, because on one hand, oftentimes you're a little bit pressed for time, especially with COVID, you're doing a lot of extra sanitizing and you want to explain things as quickly, as efficiently as possible. On the other hand, as a patient, when you come in and you do your exam and you get hit with a whole bunch of information, not everything is going to actually, stick. So this is why we think that having something on social media is so extremely important, because they can go back to it on their terms and actually find accurate information, because I'm sure everybody here knows that if you look something up on the internet, half of what you're going to find is going to be a little bit nuts and completely inaccurate, which is actually dangerous.
So we want to talk just one last moment about how to get the dry eye doctor. We're talking about how amazing it is, but currently we do have a promotional link. It is bit.ly/dry eye doctor. You can also subscribe to this YouTube channel. We're going to be releasing this content all over social media. So if you respond that you'd like to get information, we'll be able to direct you to the proper places to subscribe for our newsletters and know where to find access to this information. And our big release, our big, comeuppance into the industry to really introduce this from a 360-degree angle will be at My Vision Show. This is really our campaign to raise awareness that if you want to come and meet Tom and meet Ed and meet Dr. Yakovin and meet myself, go to myvisionshow.com. You can go ahead and register. It'll register you not only for the dry eye doctor, but all of the other great initiatives we have. And just let us know. There's a place where you can indicate, what you'd like to learn more about. So if it is the dry eye doctor, let us know, and someone from our team will reach out to you. So there are many ways now for you to get access to this product, even though we don't have an actual trade show. That's typically where you would go to meet Sue or Tom or Ed and, shake their hand and get the answers to your questions. Unfortunately, that's, maybe in early next year going to happen, but until then, you're going to have questions you're going to want answered. So please make sure you register for the Vision Show so you can come and support us. We'll have a booth both for the dry eye doctor as well as for my Eyecare team. So you'll be able to meet Dr. Yakovin and her team at the my Eyecare team booth. And at the dry eye doctor booth, you'll be able to not only learn about the dry eye doctor mask, but all of the other amazing innovations that Tom and Ed were talking about earlier. So a lot of this information is probably first time you're hearing it, but don't worry, we'll have plenty of ways for you to dig a little deeper, learn a little more, and opening order is only 20 masks. What we found is if you bring in a case of 20, you'll sell those out in the first week because everyone's going to want one, and then when they use it, they're going to want to get one for all their family members. So holidays are coming. This is definitely a great time to not quickly research and bring in this mask, because you'll be really, really glad that you have something this amazing to offer during a time when the holidays, people are looking for a gift, and more importantly, they're looking for ways to solve the increased dry eye they're experiencing due to all of these things.
Absolutely. And Charlene, I know My Vision Show is sort of your baby. So do you want to talk a little bit about this year's theme and what else is in store for guests?
Yeah, so this year's theme is the Springboard Summit. We're going to be talking about, and Dry Eye Doctor fits right into this, looking at your model. We spend a lot of time on social media, and we hear about 100 times a day. How do I become more profitable? Managed care is squeezing my profits out of my business. I'm doing business with vendors that aren't necessarily taking care of me the way they used to. I'm watching them align with our competitors. There's so many ways that the private practice owner, whether they're optically focused or optometry focused or a blend of both, there's so many ways that other sources are reaching into their pocket, and they're just looking for ways to take complete control of their business. So the theme at this year's Vision Show, which is going to be in the first week of December, we'll be announcing that on the website. So again, myvisionshow.com, is going to be the Springboard Summit. 2021 is only two and a half months away. When we launch the show, it's going to be only a month away. And many people probably haven't even started to think about how they're going to cleanse themselves of 2020. So this whole 3-day event is going to be talking about what are some of the things that you can do to develop the most profitable model for your business. And of course, developing a profitable dry eye program is going to be one of the top topics we're talking about. We're going to have the prestigious Dr. Janelle Davison on our peer panel, Dr. Yakovin, and we'll have a team of other experts contributing there as well. So definitely come and check it out.
Excellent. And 2020 ironically was supposed to be the year of the optometrist, and it's also my graduation year. So this was supposed to be an amazing, strong year for the optometry industry and the optical industry. And I think we're just going to have to take that into 2021 and move forward. So that being said, does anybody want to add any closing remarks?
Well, for me, I think that as the population gets older and more people have LASIX, more people wear contact lenses on the computer with games and everything all day, it's just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger as far as dry eye. And of course, there's no cure. And like the good doctor says, the patient doesn't even realize they have it until you tell them they have it. And that's why this social media is so important, that we get the message across to them that, oh, wait a minute. Yeah, maybe that's why my eyes tear like they do, So I also think it's a great benefit for the ODs and the MDs, because what I've been experiencing is they have been seeing a new profit center, actually, where they're making an actual dry eye clinic or a section of their practice set aside for just dry eye. And it's become big business, really.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, Tom. And I mean, having partners like Sue at the,
The dry eye doctor.
yeah, like partners with us, like the dry eye doctor, and partners with Sue, the eye doctor over in the UK. There's the horizon is great, and we continue to look forward to working with all the medical, with the doctors and with the clinicians and with the staff, and helping educate them, as well as the work that we can continue to do with Sue and her team in the UK. There, it's really the oyster is just now beginning to get cracked, and the world is our oysters, so to speak, as we move forward.
Well, I also have to add that I have to tell you, whatever the body doctor or the eye doctor team does in the UK, everything, whether it's a brochure, a box, material for the product, everything is first class. It's just unbelievable. I mean, it's not only first class, but it's like the best that you're going to find. And again, I have to say that you put a competitive mask next to their face mask or eye mask, it's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer as to what's the very best.
I want to touch on something we did not mention, and this is very, very important. We all know that there's a large population of consumers that our industry has traditionally been taking care of primarily, and COVID has put a strain on that. And that's the baby boomer, non-social media, internet engaging generation. Unfortunately, during COVID, this segment of our population had a lot more time to learn how to use the internet properly, and started to learn how to browse Amazon and things like that, and became more comfortable buying things online, when before they would have never done that. And had these individuals gone online to find the dry eye doctor mask, they would have never found it. So I want to really encourage everyone who's carrying an alternative mask to understand that there are many other competitors of the dry eye doctor, and most of them have channels that exist outside of independent eye care. What I love the most about what Sue and Tom and Ed are doing is they've stayed completely loyal to the independent segment of our industry. And their product is sold, if I'm not mistaken, exclusively through the independent optical and optometry channels, which means you're able to sell this product, set a price that's fair, and know that your patient isn't going to be able to, what they call showroom, get a price from you and then go online and find it for cheaper.
Yeah, you won't find this on Amazon, eBay, in Walmart. You won't find it anywhere but through the doctor's office.
Sue has actually taken a lot of concerted effort to make sure that her uh, practices that purchase it over in across the pond, as we say, are not trying to invade into the U.S. to protect the U.S. doctors.
Yeah, we work very hard also in the UK to make sure we do the same here in terms of supporting the eye doctors here. We make sure that we do whatever we can to stop any kind of price cutting or crossover into different sectors. We closely monitor anybody who may have an inclination to try and advertise a product in the US. So we do everything that is physically possible to keep loyalty within the sectors that we're selling into. And I just want to add as a closing remark that it's absolutely wonderful that from talking to everybody today, that you understand, you know, the level of commitment and financial and every ounce of energy that has gone in to creating the eye doctor, particularly with the antibacterial. It was a long time coming, and it's just wonderful to hear now. And it's, you know, it's been probably a year or so now that we've had it, but you know, that the education is going to be getting out there through discussions such as this. About, you know, like Charlene says, a problem that's there that people maybe don't even realise is there, but it is there. And so I just wanted to say thank you for the opportunity to discuss this and for the work that you guys do. It's very important to us here in the UK, and we appreciate it. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you very much for saying that. And, you know, I've always been, whenever, you know, I've worked for companies in the past that have brought new products on, I've always gone way above and beyond in researching the product so that I can make sure when I'm talking to my customers, because I have a personal brand, obviously, and I've always wanted to make sure that if I put my personal brand behind a product, that I can really, really, truly stand behind it and deliver all the promises I make, because I'm one of those, you know, sales-related individuals, salespeople, if you will, that likes to make big promises. I like a product that I can get really excited about and say, this is so amazing, you're going to love it, it's going to be like a spa treatment, and it's true. So I need products as dramatic as I am. And this really is just something that you as a doctor can just go on and on and on about with your patients. And when they use it, they'll be like, wow, now I know why they were so passionate about this. And as an entrepreneur and my own, you know, owning my own business now, I understand how important that is to really always raise your standard. And I could see that you've done that, Sue, over the years, that you've said, okay, well, we have the best product out there, but how do we make it better? Because you can truly compete with yourself. Just because you're at that top level doesn't mean that you don't have to look for another bar. Because if that bar means that you're going to improve the product quality or the safety factor that much more for the community, that's really your responsibility as a manufacturer. And not everybody looks at it that way. They look at their bottom line and their responsibility to themselves. And you have to really decide at some point, as somebody who's manufacturing a product and providing a service, although, and I talk about this all the time, I call it the purpose profit principle. Profit is super important, but so is purpose. Now, you can't sacrifice profit completely for purpose, but neither can you sacrifice purpose for profit. And we see too many companies doing that. So we are more than proud to shout it from the mountaintop that you guys do understand the importance of developing a product that is, and I'll close with Dr. Yakov's opening remark, ethically manufactured. And that now I think when people listen to this webinar, that they'll understand what that really means and really start to question and really look into the choices they make and say, hey, how do I really inspect, and this is something we're going to talk about deeply at Vision Show, how do I really inspect the manufacturing principles of all manufacturers I support to make sure that their ethics are aligned with mine?
Mhm.
All right, well, on that note, thank you guys so much for joining us. Huge thank you to Sue and Tom and Ed from my dry eye doctor. And thank you, Charlene. So we will see you at my vision show.
Looking forward to it.